Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't look at me for the answers. I got no answers for you today. I've been thinking about it all day. All day. Trying to think of something cool to talk about, creative. Nope. I got nothing for you. Absolutely nothing for you. No answers. So I need to vent for a second. I just need to vent for a second. It's how I feel. I like to share it with you. You ever been to a EDM festival? Or just listen to a lot of EDM music? Maybe you hear it on the radio. Most likely you don't. Or some like commercialized fusion of it for pop. The pop priority. This is the only thing that upsets me. I am not a huge fan of I am not a huge fan of the sound effects requirement. Requirement meaning it just being a thing that you have to do. Like, I understand risers. I get it. They're important, especially when you're leading to the drop. Okay, cool. I get it. I'm not complaining because they certainly do add an extra element. It's like icing on a cake. Who wants to eat cake without frosting? Nobody. Well, somebody might. I just think that sometimes the EDM industry gets in the habit. The Nuggets lost. I hope it's just that the EDM industry gets in this habit of like the requirement. There's a requirement, right? You have to have these risers and sound effects. And this is what happened. I was at what's that music festival in Tampa? Sunset Music Festival. A few years back or something, and it was like a 3 p.m. or a 4 p.m. set we were at. It's like the middle of the day, and it was Louis the Child. So it sounds like one person, but there's two of them. Don't let it confuse you. And there was two of them. And one thing that I learned from their music and from watching them perform is that they utilize a lot of space, which is something I struggle with. I'm kind of in the habit of like trying to cram every hole possible because that's just how I'm wired. Like, oh, it needs this and this, and I keep trying to subdivide subdivisions, and it gets excessive because true mastery comes in elegance and simplicity. And I think something that Louis the Child does well is they utilize space. And so I never heard of them, never knew any of their songs, and we're sitting there in the crowd and standing there in the crowd. And again, it's like a 3 p.m. set, so you could freely walk around. You're not shoulder to shoulder to people. You can have conversations going on. It's not that crazy yet. And they were building up this beat, and it was I'm hearing a reverb now. It's like affecting me. Sorry. They're building up this beat, and they're using like a huge riser or something. And then the beat drops, and it was just like it was just spacious. It wasn't like a heavy, crazy beat. It was kind of like a slow, spacious beat. And it was so awkward. It was so awkward that this... It was so awkward that I heard like a bunch of frat guys that were like... They had to have been like 20 yards away. Okay, 20 yards at a music festival is a lot. Especially when everybody's like shoulder to shoulder. They must have been 20 yards away, and I heard them crystal clear go, "Whoa!" And the voice trailed off, and that to this day it still makes me feel awkward because like you're hearing this, your expectations are getting set, and then he's like, "Whoa!" It was like this awkward moment. These people are like trying to like enjoy it for the sake of enjoyment, which I'm not knocking it, right? Hey, go on, do you, but it's certainly like it just feels too forced, right? Stop saying right. It feels too forced. Whoa! For what? There wasn't a whoa beat. So the fact is that Riser set up this expectation for, Tommy and Joe, and Tommy and Joe were expecting this huge drop, and then it was just this spacious beat. And the sad thing about it all was I actually liked the beat. It just didn't need to be built up. It just needed to be said. There didn't need to be a build up for it. It just needed to be said. And that's why I think sometimes with EDM and all of these, like, it's really the risers, right? Because sound effects everybody uses, but EDM is huge on the risers. It's all of this expectation of, and again, going back to Twitter dancing, right? The big bang, rather than a groove. The big bang, that's all we're looking for. And that's kind of what it is. It's like, rise, rise, rise for this big bang, and then what? It's just too... I don't know. I think we can do better. I like the grooves. Perfect example. One song, "Strobe" by Deadmau5. Or not Strobe. I'm sorry. Is it Strobe? The really long one. Doon, 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 doon. I think it is Strobe. Yeah, Ghosts and Stuff is like the commercial one. Okay, Strobe. Strobe by Deadmau5. That's a nice long beat, and it's just a slow build up and. Even when the drop kicks in, like late in the song, even when the drop kicks in, it's not like a huge event. It's just slowly building the layer, the wall of sound, like dear Phil Spector. Another great example is Daft Punk. Like any of their music is great music, and it's just slowly building up. Or sometimes, like, perfect example, Something About Us is a awesome Daft Punk song that uses a real interesting chord progression. I believe it starts on the 6, so it sounds like the 1 because the 3 and the 5 and the 6 are the tonic and then the 3rd. So it creates that feel of a 1, but obviously instead of using a 5, you're using a 6. So it's a little bit on the minor side. But anyways, Something About Us, Daft Punk. It's a great song. If you haven't heard it, check it out. And that is the perfect example to me of a song that speaks through the space, and it speaks by not having to do like so much. It doesn't have to be manufactured in this rise and fall environment. It just is what it is. That's it. So that's where that is my observation on the EDM industry. Is sometimes I feel like people are too much into the requirement of what things need rather than the authenticity of what the song is. And most of that Louis Child music, at least from what I've listened to, they could have changed recently. I haven't listened to them recently. At least from what I've listened to, they utilize space. And music like that doesn't need to be built up with a big drop. It just needs to be enjoyed. So, let me know what you think. Comment. Obviously, you comment on these videos, you're going to get a shout out. So, that's the way it works. Go Sixers. Go Sixers. Rooting for them tonight. I don't feel nervous. I think they'll be okay. And I've thought all along, Milwaukee is the team that we can beat. It's not. I was worried about Boston. I was really worried about Toronto. But Milwaukee never seemed like the challenge. But hey, Game 7 in Toronto, who knows? There's a good chance they could lose. There's a good chance they could win. I don't feel like it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to come down to the wire, so we'll see. If I was the head coach of the Sixers, I would have one requirement, and that is that Ben Simmons must shoot 3 3-pointers in the first quarter of every game. That's what I do. Now, don't ask me about basketball strategy. I really don't know. I like to play basketball. I just don't know the sport, like the technical side of it. I don't know strategies. I don't know, like techniques. I just like to practice and play it. So, I would probably be a pretty bad coach. I wouldn't know what plays to call, like inbound plays. I'd probably like make people do circles and stuff. So that's my 2 cents. If I was a coach, which I would probably be the worst coach in the NBA, I would make Ben Simmons shoot 3 3-pointers at the start of every game. Why? Why would I do that? You tell me. You tell me. Let's talk about it. What do you think about this EDM stuff? What have you noticed? Right? You stop saying right. What do you notice? What do you notice? Let's talk about it. Comment. Purpose, persistence, and practice is what we need to build our skill sets. A skill is a bridge. We all start off in an island, and when you build skills, you can go to other people's island, see what their life is like, or you can invite them to yours. But you can't have that conversation until you've built the bridge. That's why we practice our skills. Purpose, persistence, and practice. I love you. You are loved, you are respected, and you are appreciated. So you have a good day. Happy Mother's Day. Go kiss your mom. If you can kiss your mom today, you kiss your mom. You kiss your mom. All right. Time to go. Go Sixers!